Awesome! Alright, now you've got your account set up, you have the foundation, you have like the basis for really any kind of finances, which is super powerful. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take those accounts and turn them into spendable cash, and also allow you to get really phenomenal rewards for the money that you actually have without putting out, really any extra effort, which is super powerful. Before we do, I want to talk to you guys about a very simple mindset shift that I want you to have going into this and understanding kind of what we're doing, because I know a lot of people, they're like freaking out, like, oh, I don't get credit cards, and a lot of people are super against it. And like, here's the deal: all you have to do is be responsible. And like every uber successful person I know, like they live their life on like one credit card for personal, one credit card for business. And obviously we're not covering business just yet because that's a little bit further down the line. Most of my money's in business accounts, to be honest. Like I have very small amount of money in my personal accounts because you get way better tax advantages for having a business account. So we'll get to that as we get more into taxes. But first, it's really critical that we understand sort of why it's really important. Sort of apply what I want to share with you guys with credit cards, and also apply what I want to share with you with getting cash back and stuff like that. And it all comes down to this one concept that for me, like it's huge. This idea, like if here's a pie, right? You got your green apple pie, and for you to leverage 100% of that pie and then get all the money inside of it and be super happy, like that's awesome. But there's this other game you can also play, and that other game you can play is what they call increasing the pie, building up the pie. Some of you guys might know I run sort of like a national blockchain advertising firm. It's a company called Monerad's, and one of my core financial business partners, I'm meeting them, and it's kind of the first week together, and I'm like, hey, look, this can be phenomenal. We gotta do this together. It's gonna be the coolest thing ever. The mentality that both of us have going into this is that we're gonna take this little pie and we're gonna make it like 10 times bigger as a team. And now, even if we both only get half of it, we're gonna get way freaking more than if we both split this little tiny pie right here. Like this thing's tiny now by comparison. I don't know if you guys watch Shark Tank. Shark Tank is, like, for me, it was really inspirational growing up. Seeing like all these successful entrepreneurs succeeding and getting money and getting funded and going on to pursue their passions and their dreams. It is a very influential show. It's really good. There's a book, it's like Shark Tank, Jumpstart Your Business. Really good book. I mean, the show, everything about it's amazing. Really great inspiration, really great, couple of like great business tactics too. Like you learn stuff about business that it's really good. And there's one thing they always talk about. They talk about, do you want to have like that little grape of a company that you own 100% of, or do you want to have a watermelon that you own like 10% of or 50% of? The answer is always like you want to increase the pie more than owning a little tiny piece of it. If you think about it, I'm gonna go back to economics here. I don't like economics, but I'm just on low key, okay? If you've got like this curve of like production capacity, like I'm like, this is money. Your goal is to increase this curve and to make more money. And you just want to expand that pie so you have more to work with. And so that's sort of the key here is what I want to share with you as we go through this journey of learning how to invest and really multiply your money. Like, it all comes down to that one concept. And kind of to sum it up, for me, I drink about 3 gallons of water a day. Like, I think it's really important to stay hydrated, stay lubricated. It's just super critical for me that I get a lot of water. Like, if I drink less than a gallon of water a day, I feel parched. And so I'll carry around like I have this giant water bottle. It's awesome. I love it. It's the best thing ever. And I fill this thing up with, I used to do half a gallon. I just do 40 ounces now, and I fill it up once an hour and just kind of drink it like that. And for me, like, that's super important that I have this water because it keeps me on my game, keeps me on track, it keeps me pushing my limit. It's not just like one of these, it's like drink it, chug it, next one, drink it, chug it, fill it up, and I'm building up my pie, I'm expanding my pie. Similarly, like, and so it's the same thing with your money, right? Like, you want to, maybe right now you don't have the tools to, but I'll uncover the tools for you guys later, especially as we get into business assets, of increasing like your monthly recurring revenue, increasing your income. That's sort of the goal. What I want to share with you is I want to build a bigger pie for you in this, membership side. I want to increase the amount of water, the increased amount of money that comes in every single month. Versus recently, I took a trip back home, and my mom, she's got this cup, and I've never seen this cup before. I come in, and it's this little cup, and this, like I said, this is about 40 ounces, and then I have about 10 of those a day, 15, basically, to get about 3 gallons. She has this little tiny cup, and on the side of the cup are these little measurement bars, and it goes from like 1 ounces to 2 ounces to 3 ounces, all the way up to, I think it's about 14 ounces. And it's like measuring all the little tiny amounts of water that you would drink. And, you know, focusing on just the little increments and being like, oh, I drank 4 ounces, oh, I drank 8 ounces, oh, I drank another 10 ounces. Like, little tiny increments. Like, that's sort of what most people do with their bank account without even noticing it. You know, they say, oh, I spent $2 here, oh, I spent $4 here, oh, I spent $12 here. And they're focusing on all these little tiny things. Now, obviously, it's important to have, you know, good habits. And if you're spending like, you know, $10 on Starbucks every single day for the entirety of a year, you know, that's a lot of money that could have been invested. And you know, if it's part of your budget, then that's totally cool. But what I'm talking about here are like the small things that like aren't like $4,000 a year in coffee. You know, like most people are, they're way, and I remember I kind of started out like this a long time ago, way too focused on the granular, the tiny details. When in reality, like the tiny stuff over here is like, you know, a 14-ounce cup for me is like, you know, it's like that much. And it's like, if I want to drink that, all I do is drink 3 sips. That's, you know, that's it, right? And so my goal here is to increase your capacity to have income by shifting your mindset the same way that you can increase the amount of water you drink. For me, it's interesting because it all comes down to mindset. Like if you don't think you're worth, you know, 5, 6, 7 figures a month, you're not going to produce that kind of income. You have to believe. And the way you do that is at first it's a little bit uncomfortable. And I'm gonna share with you the mindset behind getting there by telling you how I actually came about to drink 3 gallons of water a day. This was before I was in cross country, before I was doing track, a little bit after I started weightlifting. I was like reading about all the amazing things. Like if you guys don't know about this, like drinking more water is like, I mean, it sounds like super easy and it's like, duh, that's really good for you. But there are like so many amazing health benefits of drinking more water. Like your hair literally like, it grows better and it's, your pores just get, I mean, everything about it's amazing. And for me, it's an idea of confidence and control over your body, and it's a really great way to just sort of build up that influence you have over yourself. And so I started out, I was like, I want to drink 3 gallons of water a day. How am I going to do that? And so it comes down to like setting a definite goal and picking out like a number that you want to get to. So for you, that number might be, you know, I want 6 figures, I want 7 figures, I want 8 figures, whatever you want. For me, it was I want 3 gallons a day. You know, maybe it's, you know, I want to make this much a day trading on average, you know, in a month. That's the goal, right? And you set that goal. And here's the deal. At the beginning, it's a little bit uncomfortable. So at the beginning, I would force myself to drink 3 gallons of water a day, and I would have to pee like every 25, 30, 45 minutes. I mean, it was super difficult. And I couldn't even make it through like classes in school. Like I would have to like leave like twice a class I'd pee, and it was like super weird. Everyone's like, what's this guy doing? He's super, like, what is going on? And I did that every single day for 2 weeks. I forced myself to drink, and it was totally weird, super uncomfortable. All I would do is drink. Because all you have to do is do something for like 2 weeks, and it turns into a habit. That's why as we go through this members area, I want you to understand that I'm gonna introduce things to you that I want to become habits. This idea of saving and splitting up the income that you have, this idea of taking that and putting it into different bank accounts and you know, when we get your credit cards in a sec, like paying off one credit card with all those different bank accounts in proportion to what they should actually be. Like this is the play fund, this is the groceries or the core, the living means. Like that's a habit, right? Like having a budget like that is a habit. And so I don't want to overwhelm you because most people, they can make like one habit a month. So for me, like this was the habit I decided I was gonna make for that month, is I want to drink more water. And so at the beginning it's tough, right? I mean, you feel bloated, it's really weird, you aren't used to it. It's a painful process, but you keep doing it over and over again. And for you, you know, you keep budgeting over and over again. And at the beginning it's super tough, but then you get used to it. Then you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just live on that much. Oh, okay, I guess I'll just save that much and invest that much and put that much into my save. And then after you get through the hard part, like it just starts to become natural. For me, like after like the first 2 weeks, I was like, okay, well, I guess I drink 3 gallons of water a day. And now, like sitting here recording this video, like I'm parched and I just got water like a second ago. And so it's super important that you put in the hard work at the beginning, because after you put in the hard work at the beginning, it's super easy for like the rest of time. Like I'm never gonna have a difficult time, you know, with hydration, because I've like trained my body to live on 3 gallons of water a day, and it works phenomenally well. And especially with like weightlifting, like it's super like powerful way to sort of, anyway, drinking water is really good. I would recommend. But right now, what I want you guys to focus on is using this principle of expanding the pie, using this principle of getting, like, training your mind to have an income, treat this as an income that is much larger than what most people worry about. Because when you increase your income by a factor of 10, you don't have to worry about these little incremental things that you get. Like, you don't have to worry about, you know, did I pay $4 for breakfast or $5 for breakfast? Like, you don't have to worry about that, and that's my goal here, is obviously you have the budget, but alongside the budget, like, you want to sort of increase income. And so that's sort of, you know, what the rest of this implementation program is about increasing that income for you. So that's sort of the mentality to go into, especially if you start to look at credit cards here. So cool. So let's go over what I want to do. Obviously it's a little bit like personal, kind of depends on where you are in life and what kind of credit cards you can get, but I want to show you guys like sort of exactly what I do, like in my own wallet, you know, what's in your wallet, whatever, and then share with you guys the mentalities behind what I do, so that you can sort of implement it into your own life, right? Because obviously, like, you're probably gonna have different credit opportunities than I am. I can get like maybe like because I'm super young, right? So like not a lot of credit cards for new kids, but I'll sort of share with you the mentality behind what I'm doing, and also some of the ones I'm using that are like absolutely phenomenal, that I like, they're 10 out of 10. So yeah, so that's that. Okay, cool. So the first thing that is one of the most important things on the planet, I don't know if you guys got the Think and Grow Rich course, but the first thing you should ever see when you open your wallet is, and obviously if you guys don't have Think Grow Rich course, then I guess you won't have this. But if you did, you want to make sure that like the first thing you see when you open your wallet is that check that we got from following the secret formula, because that's going to be huge motivation to see that every single day. That's the first thing. Like, I don't want to see a picture. Like, sure, you know, my license looks great. Like, I love seeing my picture. But the most important thing is that you have your check for like how much money you desire, and the whole secret formula of like, you know, I'm going to achieve this much money by, you know, set date, and this is how much money I want, and then following that process of how you're going to get there. With the secret formula, like this is critical. You have this as the first thing in your wallet. But anyway, after that, what I want to do is I want to pull out. First of all, this is kind of what your card looks like from Capital One for your bank account. It's pretty sweet. I mean, it just works like anything else. As we get more into business stuff later on, I'll show you guys kind of what you can do with stuff like this, which is super cool, but we're not going to focus on that right now. What I want to talk about today are three things that I personally use that work super well for me, and why I use them, and the you know, reasons and everything like that. And it comes down to this card and this card. This one's shinier. I like it more. And then one other card that's off screen. So I'm gonna start out with this card. It's just a normal credit card. It's not a big deal. It's like very basic, you know, couple of % back or whatever. And this one is actually co-signed by my dad. So if you're younger, it's very likely that you'll need to get a co-signed card. And honestly, like, you know, obviously, like, you know, emergency expenses or whatever, it's kind of important to have that. And so that's sort of what I use that for, is, you know, if I need like super big emergency expenses, or if I have school expenses. So school expenses obviously are deductible. You guys, you know, you've got 9 to noon, you know, like your 529 plan shit, like you want to make sure that you're definitely using that. And so, like, you know, if I have to get these like electronic things for school, or like they have these like weird things, like, I don't know if you guys know, like engineers, they have like super like technical sort of like gadgets or whatever, and you build like circuits with them. So if I have to like get something like that for school, I'll put it on here, and then you can transfer that right over to sort of a 529 college savings plan and deduct it from as a qualified expense. So that's a really great application of it. And then, you know, it's just like gas and stuff, because obviously, like, you're gonna spend money on gas anyway, so you may as well get like a couple of % back or something, which is really powerful. So it's just like basic credit card, like basically like the best credit card that you can like have access to. You know, you want like basically what you want to look for are like low fees, any kind of benefits, and then just like a high percent cash back. I feel like is the most important thing, and that's why I have this card. This card is, I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth on this card, to crypto.com. We haven't gotten as much into cryptocurrency yet, so like I don't want to explain like this is a little bit like more involved with cryptocurrency. Oh, that's so cool. I love these guys, they're awesome. And the idea behind this card is you can have like any cryptocurrency that you want, and then you can turn it into US dollars right on their app or on their platform, and then you can just spend it like any kind of normal money as a Visa card. Which is super cool. Like like this is literally a game changer for like the billions of people on this planet that don't have bank accounts. This is like a godsend to them, which is really cool. But what I want to focus on is you can link like any normal bank account. Like I just use their app because it's super easy. You just go over to your card and you can add your bank accounts. You can add, you know, anything that you want. You can do ATM deposits, ATM withdrawals, and obviously you can also have your investments in here. So if you have investments in crypto, you can transfer them over here. And I'm not going to get too deep into that because we haven't gotten into cryptocurrencies yet. But the big thing like is, and you know, there's a lot of investments in here. There's a lot of money in this because they're assets, right? You're holding assets, not necessarily on this card, but through their actual broker, through the actual app. And they also have, like, everything about these guys is really good. I'll explain a little more in the video below, but again, I want to focus more on just getting your finances set up right now. I'm not trying to pitch you on like investing in crypto or whatever, but I want to share with you this card because this card is really, it's better than any card I've seen like ever. It works as a debit card, not as a credit card, and the rewards on it, it's just amazing. Basically, the way it works is they have this token called crypto.com MCO that I'm a big investor and I've been an investor in for a long time, and the returns have been really nice. And you can kind of look at, they have here, I'll show it to you just real quick. I don't want to get too deep into crypto, but if you go here, you can look sort of at their currencies. I think they're at like $100 million right now. But basically, they have this token, which is a cryptocurrency, and you can pick, you know, do you want the free tier, or do you want to deposit 50 of these tokens, or do you want to deposit 500 of these tokens, or 5,000 or 50,000? And then it's basically just like an investment. But the way that they do is like the more you invest in their company's currency, the higher sort of tiers, rewards that you can get for their card. If this works, I'll show you the currency. But it's obviously more of like a long-term investment in an up-and-coming company, stuff like that. But I want to give you guys a kind of an idea, like, you know, right now how it's been doing. Because it's pretty cool, you know, you invest. And I remember, I think this was the first investment I made that went up 60% in a day, which was a game changer for me. So you can kind of see some of the price history here, just, yeah. So super, like when you're watching this, it's probably gonna be different, I don't really know. But you can see the growth. I usually just, I don't wanna get too deep into crypto here because this is not about crypto. Yeah, so 70 million. I mean, these guys are pretty sweet. They started up a couple years ago, and I've been following them ever since they started up at at about, you know, less than $1, and it's just been a great company. So what I use is I use this one right here, and basically I get 3% cash back on everything ever. And then I get free Spotify and free Netflix, which is super cool. And then you also get like lounge key access to airports, so I can go to like any of the lounges in airports, or a lot of the lounges in airports for free, which is awesome. And so for me, like I think it's about what, like $2 grand, $2.5 grand. It depends obviously on when you're watching this and what the prices are and stuff like that. But like I would just hold that in here as an investment because it's just part of my overall cryptocurrency portfolio. It's not like a big chunk of it. It's like, you know, 10%, 7%. So yeah, and so like this is really good. Like I don't know any other cards that give you 3% back on everything. This is really good. Like I said, I'll have that video below with more details about it, but like this is sort of my favorite thing to use because you get more money back than anything else that I know of. And also it links to like every single account I have, every bank account I have, and as we get more into crypto, you'll learn more about crypto. Like all the crypto I have, like everything I have is linked here, and it just works really well. It's a super nice card, it's made out of metal, I love it. And so yeah, so I would definitely use these guys if you're starting out. They don't, like the credit approval process is non-existent. All you have to do is like sign up, you just get their app, or yeah, you just get their app, and then they're like, hey, what's your like social security number, and you give it to them, and they're like, okay, cool, here's a card. You just pick whatever card you want, and you can get the, you know, the percent reward that you want for anything, and it's super sweet. And all you do is you hold their tokens, and you don't even have to hold their tokens if you don't want to, But definitely really great way to start out, especially if you maybe don't like, if like me, like I applied to like 12 credit cards, and because I have like no credit history, and well, I'll talk about that in just a sec, but because I didn't have a whole lot, like I didn't get any of them, right? And so if you're starting out, this is a really good way, really, like, even if you're not starting out, like 4%, 5% cash, I mean, that's a lot of cash back. And they obviously also have their investing platform and stuff like that. Again, a little bit past what we're gonna cover this week, something that definitely will be very useful. We'll talk a lot more about investing just in cryptocurrency in general in the coming weeks of the implementation program, but want to start here. And also it's cool because you, like I said, you stake tokens to hold the card and the benefits and stuff. And you can kind of see, obviously these rates are going to change over time, but like basically it's cool because I'll open up my phone and it'll be like, hey, you just made a couple $100 in passive interest. And I'm like, dude, that's sweet, like, thank you. So definitely cool that like they pay like a really nice dividend on your money. And it's like everything, they'll just pay you a ton of money to actually own their stuff. So not only are you sort of investing and you have to like lock up your tokens, but they also like give you return on your tokens for free, which is super nice, especially considering sort of like the history of it just going up and up and up. So definitely like one of the options out there that works really well, and you don't have to actually invest a whole bunch in it. Like I said, there's like a free version of it, but anyway, that's what I use, and that's worked really well for me. And it's super sweet. Now the last thing I want to talk to you about is very critical because I don't see a lot of people talking about this, and yet it's one of the easiest ways to build your credit, especially when you're young. And it's also like if you don't have a credit card yet, or if you want to get a better credit card, like obviously there are tons of credit cards out there. You go to Google, you look up best credit cards. I mean, I don't think any of them give you as good a reward cashback as this one, which is why I love this one. But like as you're looking for like top credit cards. Obviously it's going to constantly be changing because there are just always new credit cards. But it's really critical that you have like a super great credit history. And I'm not a big fan of tracking my credit history because like you want to just let it grow without really, like, it doesn't really matter. But it's kind of whatever you want to do. The key though is that you start out building your credit early, just like you start out investing early. And so what I want to do now is I want to show you this one strategy you can implement, especially if you're younger, to start building your credit now, so that in the future, if you want to invest in real estate, if you want to get a loan, if you want to get an investment, if you want to just get really good credit cards that give you a lot of money back, so that when you're spending money to buy things that you need, you get really good, money back. You can get some of the best credit cards possible. And so that's sort of the last thing I want to finish up this module on, and then we'll get into sort of the actual cool like cashback and extra income stuff, and then we'll finish up this week, which is super exciting. A lot of stuff to apply this week, so definitely make sure you're taking action on everything here, which is super cool. So here's the strategy, okay? You want to apply until you can find like some kind of credit card that will like give you a card and you'll be the sole holder for this card. And if you're in a situation where this doesn't apply to you, we're gonna actually look at the psychology behind this, and we're gonna look at an application of this in just a minute that's actually gonna be like insanely useful for you, and it's gonna combine with one of the tools we're about to cover in the cashback part. So definitely make sure you stick around for that, because it's really powerful, and also a really great card that I don't have in my wallet, and I'm about to tell you exactly why I don't have it in my wallet. So here's the deal. You want to apply until you can find someone that like lets you and you alone be the holder of this card, so that you and you alone can build like your credit, right? Because if you have a cosigner or something, and like for this card, right, like it's co-signed, and like my dad signs onto it, so it's not like just my credit, it's also his credit. And so for me, like, that's not gonna really help my credit that much. It'll just go up a little bit. So what you want to do is get your own card, and then that's gonna make your credit go up way faster. And so here's the idea, here's the critical point. Like as soon as you turn 18 or past 18 or whatever, you want to apply for credit cards and get one, all right? And I'm gonna show you the best one that I found, the easiest one to get into, the best rewards, the best perks, best cash back, everything in just a sec. But I wanna explain the concept first. So the concept is you get this card, okay? And then it comes in the mail, and the first thing you do is you give it to your parents, and you say, okay, here's the card. You hand it to them, you say set up your bank account with it, and they set up their bank account with it, just like any other thing that, any other credit card they would have, any other, card, account, whatever. You say, okay, so they link their bank account to your credit card. Remember, this is your credit card in your name. You give it to your parents, or whoever, whatever, right? And then you never touch it again, ever, all right? They have it. And then just all they do is get stuff like groceries or gas, like basic things that we outlined in the formula yesterday. And this is something you can do for your kids if you're a little bit older. If you have kids, this will really help their credit. I mean, it's massive, so really critical here. Really critical. So you give it to your parents, or you take it from your kid, okay? And then all you do is spend it on like basic living expenses. And then you pay, for it automatically. What I do is you set up automatic monthly payment. You should do this with every card you have. Obviously, if you're paying from a couple of different bank accounts at the end of the month on a card, because it has different sorts of charges on it, that's one example where, you would have to manually go in and spend like 10 minutes paying your bills or whatever. But for this card, since, it's not actually your account, it's like, you want to just set up a payment for it and automatically pay for your groceries or gas or whatever every single month on time, obviously, because you never ever want to have a late credit card statement. Like, guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but like the credit card rates are absolutely insane. They're like high 20 percentage points. I mean, it's berserk. Like, guys, if you can get a 20% compounding investment, it's phenomenal. If you are being leveraged at 20% debt, you're gonna get screwed over. We talked about this on the chapter on debt. Like, you guys just do not want to have, just don't do it, okay? Like, if you have any debt, just don't do it, okay? You gotta live on less than you make. It's basic saving and investing principles. So you spend it on very basic things. You pay off the card for, so your parents pay off your card for you pay off the card for your kid, whatever, because you're like just buying groceries or whatever. And that's gonna build their credit really, like extremely effectively. It's gonna work very well, because it looks like you got this guy who doesn't have a credit history, and now he's spending, a couple $100 on groceries or whatever, and paying it back over and over again, and becoming a very reliable borrower. Okay, that's the core concept. That's the idea behind this technique, and it's very powerful. So I'm gonna show you now exactly what I use. This goes alongside Ebates, which we're gonna talk to you about in just a moment, because they're owned by this company. It's called Rakuten, and they have this credit card, and this credit card is amazing. It's done by Synchrony, I guess Synchrony Credit. And this is like super cool. 1% cashback everywhere, and then 3% cashback on like special stuff. But the rewards are, I mean, it's okay. If you combine it with Ebates, it's really good. So we'll talk about that in a second, because you get more money back when you use that cashback platform. But basically, like, all you want to do is apply for this card. You apply for it, you get whatever your limit is, and then you turn on auto pay, which is super important. Set it to pay like the full balance every time. But basically, like, all you want to do is have your parents, like, give it to your parents, and I'll kind of show you some of the examples here of what they use it for. Like, all you do is like groceries, dry cleaning, stuff that very basic stuff. Like, all you want is very basic charges on this card, and then you want to have it under your name, and then your parents, whoever, if you, it's for your kid, like, you pay for it, and that's gonna build their credit better than almost anything else that you can do starting out at a young age, which is really powerful. So that's sort of like the key, that's the foundation. And one of the best things that you can do is to have this card, and hopefully you guys get approved for this. If you don't, one other thing that you could do, you should be, like, this is a pretty easy card to get, and like I said, it goes right alongside with Ebates. So if you have an Ebates account or whatever, Rakuten Rewards, which we'll get to in just a minute, this is super easy to get. Like I said, I had no history when I got this card. And so if that doesn't work, there's one other thing that I use that this was actually even easier to do. This is the first thing I did, if you need help working on this concept. PayPal Credit is also a really great tool that you can leverage. You saw my credit limit on that card that I don't have because I don't use it is like $3,500. Here's an example with PayPal Credit where I think I have like 500 in credit. So another example, if maybe you don't get the card from Rakuten, you could get, you know, the PayPal card or whatever, or just use PayPal Credit, just like with a normal PayPal platform. And then that's another great way where you can start spending money you would have spent anyway, and then actually get start building a credit history with that. And also, you know, you get 1 or 2% cash back or whatever, which is super cool. I think the Rakuten card, the way the rewards work is a lot better than PayPal Credit, so I would definitely recommend that. It's sort of the core thing. Like if you know, don't have a card yet or whatever, PayPal Credit's great. All you do is you log in your PayPal account and you click, you know, apply for PayPal Credit. It takes like 10 seconds. But I mean, you can see a lot of people have earned a lot of money with this card because you do get like 10%. You get like $10 for free when you sign up, and it just works really well. So I kind of like that, and then it also lets my parents turn the grocery money they're spending anyway into, you know, cash back, and so it works really well. And then obviously, really big thing here is there are no fees. You got to make sure there's no fees. Or if there are fees, like make sure they're freaking justified and it makes sense, and it works really well. So that's the key, that's the foundation, that's the module on credit cards. That's probably where you should get started. Obviously this stuff is changing all the time. Basically, you want to get the best credit card you can. For most people, I think it's this one, so that's why I have a little more information about it below. But it's also a little, you know, you just can't do a bank account. You don't have to worry about the crypto stuff until we get over to the crypto stuff. Or if you have better options out there and you know that you have better options out there, obviously go with that. But you want to keep it, you know, usually, you know, if you start to get like 4 or 5 or 6 cards, like make sure you know what you're doing with those cards. Maybe you have like one card that you use, it's a debit card that you use for, you know, your daily expenses. You have one card that you use, it's a credit card. Like you should probably use a credit card for your daily expenses just because you'll get that cash back or travel points or whatever. Then maybe you have another card you use for your big electronic purchases or whatever, which is why it's really important that you use services like Rakuten because they will save you a lot of money. I remember I got this laptop, saved a lot of money just by using this card and using their services that I'm gonna share with you in the next module. So yeah, really cool stuff there. Definitely the foundation here. You gotta make sure as you move on that you actually have a way to pay people by having, you know, some kind of card, and preferably one that's gonna be great for building up sort of your long-term credit, because you never really know, like if you're gonna invest in real estate or if you're gonna try to get a loan or if you're gonna try to do something new, like you just don't know when you could need that credit, and there's really no reason not to because you literally get rewarded for it. You just need to make sure, use it responsibly, pay it every single month and only spend what you have and follow your budget. This is why we set up the budget first. Most people, they get a credit card without a budget and then they spend more than they have because they are able to. And so it's really important. This is why I gave you guys the budget first so that you know what you can spend or what you can invest or what you can save, and then take the proper steps once, like you're responsible once you have the card, and you know, all you have to do is be responsible and you should be solid. So that's the core, that's the foundation. I hope you guys get a ton of value out of this module. Go out there, apply it, absolutely crush it. And I will see you in the next module. Thank you, bye.